One.
Welcome to the KVWN Channel 4 News. I'm John Jimmy James Jackson.
I'm Lindsay Yang. Let's go to tonight's first story.
As many of you already know, Cambodia has been fighting for independence from France for many years. Today, we have the privilege of interviewing Sihanouk, the man who advocated for our country's independence. Our reporter, Miss Merchant, will start off with a bit of history before the actual interview begins.
It all began in 1863, when King Norodom agreed to establish a French proctorate in his kingdom. In the terms of this contract, it was stated that the Cambodian monarchy would be allowed to remain, but the French government would retain the power. Now, can we have a warm round of applause for King Sihanouk? Thank you. I am honored to be here. Can you tell me why, after so many years of the French rule, that Cambodians suddenly wanted independence?
Well, the elite French-educated Cambodians learned Western ideas of self-rule and democracy, and this created a sense of pride in their country and sparked nationalism.
Yes. Can you tell me what happened in June of 1952?
June 1952. Yes. Well, I dismissed the cabinet and suspended the constitution and took control as prime minister. And from that point until February 1955, I exercised direct rule over Cambodia.
But even though you had direct rule over Cambodia, why did you choose to go to France in March of 1953?
Well, I went to France to ask for complete independence. Despite the increased autonomy, people were still growing restless and wanted complete independence. And if I didn't do something quickly, the citizens would have turned against me and went to more radical leaders, and I didn't want to lose my power.
What happened afterwards? Did the French grant you independence?
No, they did not. Rather, they threatened to replace me with someone who had less backbone. And on the way home, I stopped by Canada, United States, and Japan to publicize the Cambodian struggle for independence. I vowed to never return to Cambodia until we were granted independence.
Wasn't this a gamble? Could they have easily replaced you?
Well, yes, but it was a risk worth taking. And in the end, it paid off. In 1955, we were granted full independence.
Despite being allies during the Vietnam War, Cambodia and Vietnam have a shaky relationship.
Relationship? Is someone breaking up?
Well, I guess you can say. Cambodia and Vietnam have been at full-scale warring from December 1978 to January 1979.
Why not? Tell me more. Why are they breaking up? They look like such a perfect couple.
I know, right? Even while Cambodia and Vietnam were fighting, they still had several public diplomatic exchanges to maintain the image of a strong relationship between them.
Wait, why were they even fighting in the first place?
Well, it all started a while back, while the two countries were allied during the Vietnam War. The Cambodian government, the Khmer Rouge, feared that the Vietnamese were trying to take over Cambodia. Then in 1975 and again in 1977, Cambodia attacked Vietnam.
Whoa, that does not sound cool. That sounds like an abusive relationship.
Towards the end of 1977, Vietnam retaliated, but eventually withdrew in 1978.
Seriously, they should see a marriage counselor. That'd probably work.
I kind of doubt it, but China actually tried to act as a mediator, or maybe as a counselor, for Cambodia and Vietnam. However, they refused to stop fighting or compromise.
Jeez, they're acting like a bunch of little kids. Or teenagers.
By the end of 1978, Vietnam launched a full-scale attack on Cambodia. They captured the capital city, Phnom Penh, and occupied Cambodia for the next 10 years.
Rude. What happened next?
Well, during the occupation, the Khmer Rouge was recognized as the official government by the UN. Vietnam eventually withdrew from Cambodia due to heavy pressure from the international community in 1989.
Yay! Happy ending!
Afterwards, the Cambodian monarchy was returned to power and the Khmer Rouge was outlawed.
Wait, why was the Khmer Rouge outlawed?
Well, they committed many crimes. If you want to know more about the Khmer Rouge, stay tuned for our next segment.
Time to put our serious faces on.
To keep you is no benefit, to destroy you is no loss. This was an aphorism created by the Khmer Rouge, the Communist Party of Kampuchea and Cambodia, led by leader Pol Pot from 1975 to 1979.
The Khmer Rouge repressed and massacred innocent Cambodian civilians' lives on a massive scale. Taking root in the northeastern jungles of Cambodia in the early 1960s, the prototype for the Khmer Rouge, then just a group driven by communist ideals, reached a watershed in 1970 when Prince Norodom Sihanouk, who was in control of Cambodia at the time, had to depend on the military support of the Khmer Rouge as the country descended into civil war. Painting themselves as a peaceful party, the Khmer Rouge rose in power, gaining support of the country people.
Another major turning point for the Khmer Rouge came in 1975 when they took control of the Cambodian capital, Phnom Penh, and evacuated the 2.5 million people of the city to camps in the countryside in their effort to create their ideal agrarian society with a tripled production rate and also devoid of banks, religions, or modern technology. The Khmer Rouge began to exterminate all those who did not fit this new ideal, with a popular slogan at the time being, "What is rotten must be removed." It is thought that 1 to 2 million people died during the reign of the Khmer Rouge, whether it was through malnutrition and disease or extermination camps. Finally, the Khmer Rouge was overthrown in 1979 by Vietnamese troops, sending the Khmer Rouge back into the jungles.
Action. With the Khmer Rouge came the Cambodian genocide. Let's go to our on-site reporter in Cambodia for the Cambodian genocide.
Here I am in the Cambodian jungle to talk about the roots of the Khmer Rouge. The genocide, started by the Khmer Rouge, was an attempt to make Cambodia a farming society. The Khmer Rouge, led by Pol Pot, took power from Lon Nol. The Khmer Rouge then made everyone go on long forced marches and killed anybody that would be able to create any inventions from the Western society, such as lawyers, doctors, teachers, engineers, scientists, and even members of the army were killed. Buddhist monks, Cham Muslims, and Christians were all murdered to keep Cambodia pure. Along with the professionals and religious members, minority groups were also targeted. Groups such as anybody with a Chinese, Vietnamese, and Thai ancestry were murdered. The Khmer Rouge used the Chinese communist agricultural model in their attempt to make all farmers equal. The genocide killed almost 25% of the country's population.
Anyway, the Khmer Rouge was ruthless and harshly interrogated its members. All of those survivors were turned into unpaid laborers and worked in rural work projects. The Vietnamese have come in and kicked the Khmer Rouge out of Cambodia and taken the country for its own. The U.S. and Britain decided to support the exiled Khmer Rouge members who were now against communism and wanted vengeance again upon the Vietnamese. The Vietnamese withdrew in 1989 and peace and order was restored in the land. Buddhism was once again the official religion, and in 1993, the first democratic elections were held. Back to you, John Jimmy James Jackson.
After decades of negotiation between Cambodia and the United Nations, an agreement has been reached on the UN aid to Cambodia. A draft was created and approved by the co-presidents from France and Indonesia and the 5 permanent residents of the UN in 1990. 2 main sessions took place. The first meeting was from July 30th to August 30th, 1989, and the second was from October 31st to October 23rd in 1991. The agreement is to be signed today, October 23rd, 1991. Now we go to Miss Merchant and Ashley reporting live from Paris.
Hi! We are witnessing a historical moment in Cambodian history. As you can see next to me, the members of UN and Cambodian representatives are officially passing the agreement to send aid to Cambodia. We would go and talk to them and interview them, but sadly our station is too small and pathetic, and no one wants to talk to us.
Well, anyways, we have been told, or more, we have eavesdropped on other interviews. Whatever, you know what I mean. So the signing marks the start of a transitional period in Cambodia where the United Nations Aid to Cambodia, or UNTAC, takes over. They will get a new government set up, enforce the laws such as the police force, reinforce human rights law, and rebuild basic infrastructure such as roads. The plan will continue until...
Look at the Secretary General over there, just off taking pictures with the BBC. Our station is just as good as the BBC. Who does he think he is?
Look, can you just shut up? Control yourself, lady.
How many times did I ask for a statement? No, you said everyone except for me.
period is projected to end in 1993 when Cambodia's first free elections will take place and new officials are elected. Thailand and Cambodia are currently at war over a 1,000-year-old temple on top of a 1,700-foot cliff that separates the two Southeast Asian nations. Thailand has recently decided to stake a claim of the land and moved troops in and heavy artillery. Cambodia responded in a similar way and moved soldiers of its own into the area.
Thailand feels that the temple should be theirs because the ancient maps as well as the geography suggest that the temple belongs to Thailand. Also, the temple is almost inaccessible from the Cambodian side and there is a paved road on the Thai side.
The International Court ruled that it is neither country's temple in order to prevent war, and the Thai were sedated while charging tourists on a toll road up to the temple. 11 years ago, anti-Thai riots broke out in Phnom Penh after a Thai actress claimed Cambodia's most famous ruins, the Angkor Wat site, really belonged to Thailand. She confessed later that her knowledge of Southeast Asian history was a bit shaky, but in the meantime, protesters sacked the Thai embassy in Phnom Penh and set fire to the building.
Thailand citizens living in Phnom Penh had to be flown out and relations have been strained ever since.
Cambodia! For Thailand! I'm so happy to hear that justice will finally be served. My grandmother was one of the millions, a quarter of the population at the time, that died under the Khmer Rouge regime. I still believe that the $200 million spent will pay off in the end.
Thank you. We have just heard from one of the many descendants of victims of the Cambodian genocide. A little background. The Extraordinary Chambers in the Courts of Cambodia, as the Khmer Rouge Tribunal is officially known, was founded when investigations began in 2007. The official prosecuting attorney is Mr. William Smith. There have been 4 cases planned so far, and supposedly many more are coming, as these trials have been rumored to be one of the biggest since the Nuremberg trials. Both of these trials have been created to punish the perpetrators of genocides, with the Nuremberg trials geared towards prosecuting Nazis. But we do know that those trials did result in very few convictions, so we hope this one will be better.
Wait, this just in. Apparently, there are not going to be any more trials coming up. According to this super official report of mine, Prime Minister Hun Sen has requested no more trials be conducted. Case 002 has ended in convictions for the 2 surviving and mentally fit defendants, Nguyen Cha and Kyo Sampan, while case 003 and 004 have been stalled. Those are the only cases that have been slated for trial.
Wait, so we have a grand total of 3 people convicted, including case 001 defending Kang Gwek, and that's all?
Okay, let's go to our on-site reporter to see what's going on.
Okay, ready? So this entire thing seems to be kind of a bust. I'm really questioning whether or not it was actually worth it. They said they were going to bring justice, but instead the trial was affected by the government corruption and foreign interests. They think we don't know that the USA limited the trials to crimes committed within the borders of Cambodia during the Khmer Rouge era. All this in order to protect the American soldiers who may have been part of the cause. The trials may have just been a PR stunt for all we know.